Welcome back to New Rockstars. I'm Erik Voss, and this is a breakdown of the post-credit scenes of Thor: Love and Thunder. Scenes that I almost missed because the ending of this movie had me in tears. Everyone sitting next to me were like, hey, dry those tears, you big baby. They're about to give us some Easter eggy yum-yums that the world will need you to explain how it all connects to Ant-Man. And yes, for those of you watching, spoilers ahead. Don't watch this video without seeing the movie. The movie's so good. Go watch this in a theater, bring someone you love, and then I'll be waiting for you here to explain the implications of all this. First, a recap of this movie. Thor, Jane Foster, Valkyrie, and Korg visit Omnipotent City to seek help from Zeus to deal with Gorr the God Butcher, who has been killing god after god in the MCU and has recently kidnapped the Asgardian children from New Asgard. These children including Heimdall's son, Astrid, aka Axel, named after Axl Rose. And as they're headed into Omnipotent City, Thor actually name drops other deities who will be here, including Hercules, an Aztec god, and many others. And when they arrive, there's actually a bunch of familiar faces. The Great Protector of Ta Lo from Shang-Chi, Celestials like the Mad Celestial and the Celestial Gardener, a bow god. They actually mentioned an off-screen carpenter god, implying, yeah, Jesus is MCU canon. I mean, he always was, you know, a single set of footprints in the sand and the like, but now we know that Jesus is friends with a bunch of a-holes. In the fight that ensues, Zeus crumbles Korg, but Korg survives because it's just his face, that's all he needs. Thor blows a hole through Zeus's chest and they steal Zeus's thunderbolt, one weapon they know can go toe-to-toe with Gorr's sword, the Necro Sword, so they go on to confront Gorr in the Shadow Realm, where they learn that all of this was Gorr luring them into a trap just to steal Stormbreaker. Why? Because Stormbreaker has the powers of the Bifrost, and he needs the Bifrost Rainbow Bridge to access the heart of Eternity. Yes, Eternity, the cosmic entity from the Marvel lore, the living embodiment of the universe itself, commonly depicted as a silhouette containing stars and planets. Eternity in this movie represents a kind of wish fulfillment that Gorr initially wants to use to kill all gods in one fell swoop. Now, Eternity is the brother to Infinity, whose statue head lined the chamber where Gorr used Stormbreaker to open this portal. We saw statues of Infinity and Eon, representing time, Lady Death, the Living Tribunal, the ultimate legal authority, and the Watcher. Actually, when Gorr initially arrived, there was also a statue of a head of a Celestial, and I believe this is the one above all, considered to be the highest ranking Celestial, but that statue head gets smashed. Thor tells the kids to pick up the various pieces of all this rubble, and he declares an Odin-style charm to give each kid the power of Thor. This is basically the logic for why Mjolnir protected Jane and responded to her. Jane joins Thor in this battle despite the power-ups resetting her cancer treatments. They're able to overwhelm Gorr, and as his life fades from him, he makes it to the other side of the Eternity portal where Eternity sits silently in a meditative state. Gorr instead uses Eternity to regenerate his unnamed daughter who died in the opening scene, who's actually played by Chris Hemsworth's real-life daughter, India Rose Hemsworth. And as Gorr dies, and as Jane dies, Thor promises to look after this girl, leading to the final scene where Thor and his foster daughter charge into battle, this girl carrying Stormbreaker, Thor carrying Mjolnir once more, as Korg's storytelling narration throughout the film, in the final line, nicknames them Love and Thunder. And yes, I got emotional because I just want a daughter so bad. Now, it is not specified, but the implication here is that since Gorr's daughter was reborn from Eternity, she may actually be the MCU's version of Mistress Love, or just Love, another abstract concept embodied in a living form. Within the Marvel hierarchy, she's ranked below Eternity Infinity, but above Galactus and the Celestial we talked about, the one above all. I may be reading into the semantics too much, but Korg's narration does say she was born from Eternity. Now, the first post-credit scene returns to Omnipotent City, where Zeus wallows in defeat with his wound being tended to by these women, whom the credits call his Zeusettes, and he laments the fallen status of gods in the universe, saying in Russell Crowe's amazing Greek accent in this movie, they beg you for mercy without them knowing if you are actually listening. Now, when they look to the sky, they don't ask us for lightning, they don't ask for rain, they just want to see one of their so-called superheroes. When did we become the joke? No, no more. They will fear us again when Thor Odinson falls from the sky. And then Zeus looks upward and asks, do you understand me, my son? And then we cut to Hercules, played by Brett Goldstein, best known as the lovably gruff Roy Kent from Ted Lasso. He stands and grunts, yes, father. And he brandishes his iconic weapon for the Marvel Comics, the Golden Mace. It's made out of adamantine, not adamantium, adamantine, and forged by Hephaestus, and this weapon is considered to be as strong as Mjolnir. Hercules, of course, comes from Greek mythology, the son of Zeus, an immortal woman, and one of the great heroes known for his 12 labors. In Marvel Comics, he was a longtime rival to Thor and a later friend who joins the Avengers. During Civil War, Hercules joined Team Cap against superhero registration. He actually killed the Thor cyborg, considering it an insult to Odinson. He's a major figure in Secret Invasion and in Dark Reign, and giant in World War Hulk. Actually, in addition to being a rival with Thor, he's also considered a strength rival to Hulk. We don't really know who's the stronger between the two of them. Also in World War Hulk, he teams up with a young Amadeus Cho. Really, he's seen as the bad boy to Thor's golden boy. Maybe too soon to see him in Secret Invasion, but a future Thor team up. The credits do promise Thor will return, or in Avengers Secret Wars, or maybe even a World War Hulk title. Wherever we see this guy again, bless my soul, Herc will make heads roll. Now, if you're full of chivalry and really want to address someone as Lord and Lady, Established Titles can make it official. Established Titles is a project based on a historic Scottish custom where landowners are referred to as lairds, or lords and ladies in English. They let people buy as little as 1 square foot of dedicated land so that they can call themselves a lord or a lady, and in return, Established Titles commits to planting a tree. It's just a really fun way to help preserve the beautiful woodlands and biodiversity of Scotland while supporting global afforestation efforts. Established Titles work with global charity Trees for the Future and One Tree Planted to help them plant a tree for every order. Plus, for those with Scottish heritage out there, it's just a great way to connect to your family roots. Your certificate features a unique plot number with which you can see the exact location of your land on a private estate in Huddleston, Scotland, and an official certificate with a crest. You can get a couple pack for you and your partner with adjoining plots of land, and you can literally have this gift ready in 5 minutes. So it makes an amazing last minute gift, and Established Titles is actually running a massive sale right now. Plus, if you use the code New Rockstars, you get an additional 10% off. So go to establishedtitles.com/newrockstars to get your gifts now and help support this channel. Now, the second post-credit scene catches up with Jane Foster after she disintegrated into gold sparkle dust upon her death. This is the same form Odin took when he died, when Frigga took when she died, and when all the gods died in this movie, and now we see where they go. Jane arrives in Valhalla. This is, of course, the Norse afterlife that's been mentioned throughout these films, but never shown until now. And she's greeted by Heimdall. Both are robed and healthy looking, and the terrain of Valhalla is depicted as something like New Asgard, a rocky Norwegian fjord. This actually looks like the terrain that was in the background of all the posters that were released. And seeing Valhalla as a physical realm is just interesting, considering the growing importance of realms as opposed to universes in the MCU. Recently explored on Ms. Marvel with the Nord dimension, and on Moon Knight with the Duat Underworld, and in Shang-Chi with Ta Lo in the Realms Beyond, and of course in the Black Panther films, the Ancestral Plane. Moon Knight just established that the Wakandan Ancestral Plane and the Egyptian Duat were part of the same spiritual afterlife network in the MCU, which now presumably includes Valhalla, as well as other realms that have been mentioned, like Thanos' Soul Realm, the Mirror Dimension, the Astral Plane, the Gap Junction, and the Quantum Realm, which of course is going to come back in Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. So what separates realms from universes is that universes are really parallel timelines to our own. They have the same general geography and architecture and alternate versions of us, just with certain variables swapped between them. But realms are otherworldly dimensions with surreal physical properties and fantastical beings and structures. Realms are suggested to be the buffer zones between universes. Like the Mirror Dimension, they exist all around us, and realms are accessed via death or by hidden waypoints. And again, we did meet some realm-based beings in Shang-Chi, and yes, the clandestines of Ms. Marvel, and we brought this up before, but the Quantum Realm does contain a city in the background, a city that we'll probably explore in Quantumania. And remember, when Loki entered the Void in Loki episode 4 and 5, he initially thought it was Hell with one L. Hell is the Norse afterlife, the negative punishment-based inverse of Valhalla. In our world mythology, this is actually where Christianity derived its notion of hell, hell with 2 L's. So the point of this scene isn't just to give Jane and Heimdall, and presumably also Odin and Frigga and Valkyrie's past girlfriend, a kind of happy ending as they sail into the sunset like Frodo and Bilbo, but actually to further establish in the MCU a life after death and a growing network of realms as spiritual afterlives. When certain characters die in the MCU, they pass on to these realms. In the Ragnarok event in the comics, Asgardian souls are actually reincarnated into new corporeal bodies. So we may yet learn of an MCU reincarnation system where souls do not die and disappear forever, but actually go through some kind of transition process where they initially go to realms, a kind of purgatorial state, and then maybe get reincarnated into new bodies in separate universes. This could be how we get new recasted forms of characters like Tony Stark or T'Challa. Hell, maybe this is something Wanda Maximoff is currently going through in Hell, currently meeting a new friend before she resurrects in a new form. Let me know your thoughts about these scenes in the comments below. Follow me at Erik Voss, follow New Rockstars, subscribe to New Rockstars for more analysis of everything you love. Thanks for watching. Bye.